I have figured out that the best way to make money is not from physically working.
Mm-hmm.
It's not from going to college and getting a degree and getting a job and working a job for years. That's not the best way to make money. The best way to make money is creating passive income.
Hey guys, what's up? This is the Gray F podcast, and my name is Gray. And if you're watching on YouTube, you're definitely watching this on Hardcore Crypto. Okay, so if you're listening to the podcast and you want to watch this on video, definitely go on Hardcore Crypto. You'll be able to watch this video. But my guest today is Jermaine. You want to introduce yourself, man?
Yeah. Hey, what's up? My name is Jermaine. I am from the U.S., live in California, live in San Francisco, and I love to travel. Trying to travel to 100 countries. I'm at country 51 now, and I am super stoked to be here on the podcast.
I got onto your videos on YouTube because you used to do a lot of money videos about how to hustle. It's like small little things you can do to make extra bucks. And then, you transition into travel and stuff right now. You do less of those videos now.
Oh gosh, don't say it like that. You make it sound like you bring those videos back.
Yeah, but those videos used to be good, man.
Yeah.
I got into apps like Robinhood.
Man, I wish you guys could use Robinhood.
Yeah, well, I managed to find a way around it. But yeah, I got a couple of friends onto Robinhood and stuff. So yeah, basically, how do you explain your life, man? What do you do?
Oh my gosh, that's something I'm trying to figure out myself every day. Like, I wake up and I say, what am I doing here? Like, where am I going tomorrow?
Yeah.
Where was I at yesterday? Pretty much I travel around the world. And I fund that off of living in San Francisco, working for different apps, promoting those same apps that I work for on YouTube and getting other people to work for those apps. And I make, little bits of commissions off of the people that I promote to, people that I get to sign up for new apps and different platforms. And this is how I'm able to travel around the world and live out my dream of going to 100 countries.
Right. So that is interesting. What you're doing. This is an interesting space. I got into it like maybe 2 years ago to understand how this online thing works and all. It's a very American thing to begin with.
You mean the whole like making money on the internet?
On the internet, so, it's kind of very American of it, but still, there's a kind of a mystery around it because it doesn't have a title. Because usually that's what people are looking for. It's like, so what do you do, Jermaine? So they want an answer. I get it now that I'm into it, but like for a lot of people, it's like, oh, you're talking about traveling the world.
It's a good question because people ask me, what do you do? And I give different answers based off of who they ask, who asked me, how they asked me, where they asked me at. Is this at dinner or is this like on a random bus? Like it's going to be different because sometimes if I just tell people, oh, I make YouTube videos and travel, that really doesn't mean anything. That's like saying, hey, I'm an entrepreneur. Well, okay. What do you do? Like, are you a taxi driver? Do you sell cell phones? What do you mean by entrepreneur? So when you say YouTuber, it's very different. It's very difficult for people to sum you up.
Yeah.
Now, when I'm back in the U.S., a lot of times I will just tell people, oh, I drive for Uber. Because if I say I drive for Uber, people can quickly realize, oh yeah, Uber driver. They can quickly relate with that versus, oh yeah, I'm a YouTuber.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And then, I know. I get the question they have usually. It's more like when you tell someone I'm an entrepreneur, they'll be like, but what do you do?
Yeah.
It's like, it's not always an easy answer, especially in the world of today, online and stuff. So how did you, I don't think we have settled enough exactly what do you do though. So you make YouTube videos, people get that, you travel, but then how do you make money?
Oh, how do I make money?
To travel and stuff.
So that's a good one. I have figured out that the best way to make money is not from physically working. It's not from going to college and getting a degree and getting a job and working a job for years. That's not the best way to make money. The best way to make money is creating passive income. Because passive income is the type of income that pays you when you're not working. It's when you do something one time, like you make a video or you write a book or you create some music and you're able to sell that item over and over and over and over. This is the best way to make money. And this is one thing I do. I focus on a lot of passive income. So a lot of times I don't, make a lot of money, but I make I know every month I'm going to get X amount of money coming in, or at least X amount of money coming in. So I'm able to continue to travel. For example, right now I'm going to go travel to like Europe, like Western Europe, and I figured out the math. It's going to be a little bit cheaper than traveling around Africa. Mm-hmm. So that way I can spend a month there, and then I already know, okay, another month I'll have some more money coming in from passive income. So I do things like promote different links. For example, Amazon links. I may have different products in the videos, and people may want to know, hey, where'd you get those sunglasses from? Or where'd you get that backpack? Or, just random things that I have in my videos. And I'll have Amazon links in the bottom. So if people click on the links and buy things, I'll get a small percentage. There's also YouTube ads, YouTube commercials. This is a small revenue income stream. There's also Uber, which it's still a revenue stream, but when Uber drivers sign up, or this is mainly for the US, but when Uber drivers sign up and become drivers, I, receive a small commission. And with a handful of different streams of income, this is how I'm able to continue to travel. And also when I do go back to the US, I work quite a bit when I'm in San Francisco. So when I go back to the US and leave again, I always leave with money that I made from back home, and then I still have more passive income coming in. So that's pretty much how I sort of afford it.
Man, I think you think differently about what making money is. It's like you make it simple. It's like, it doesn't have to be like this hard one thing all the time. It's just like having small little income streams across the board. And at the end of the day, at the end of the month or whatever, you have quite good enough to live on, right? Mm-hmm. By doing mostly things that you like. Cause usually you're into skateboards and, little creative things.
Yeah. And I'm not skateboarding now because I'm traveling, but yeah, I'll be back skateboarding when I'm back home. But I don't know when I'm going to go back home.
Yeah, exactly. That is cool. I think most people would want to do that, but they think it's that hard. The concept of you can just refer people to something good. You're not even selling something bad. It's it's something that they want to just recommend. Okay, if you want to sign up, just use my link below, and then they go get it and you get paid from that. Mm-hmm. Right? It's kind of a new thing for a lot of people to grasp, I suppose.
It's kind of hard to explain sometimes.
But then how do you have a consistent amount that you can say, look, every month at least a minimum I get X amount? And the good thing about speaking with Americans about money is that they're open about money. In Africa, people don't talk about money like that, just so that you know.
So roughly about I get roughly about $2,000 coming in every month.
That is passively.
That is pretty much passive. I won't say all of it is passively because a large chunk of that is making YouTube videos. Yeah. And it's kind of passive when you have old videos making money because you're not doing anything for those old videos. Yeah. But usually every day I go out and make a video. So it's kind of like I'm working every day. Yeah. So I would say that the ads is not exactly passive, but all the other links are, because it's not like I'm typing that link out every single day, putting it in the description. I'm just sort of making the video.
Okay, so this is I think a very important point is that when you have content, for example, right now there are people watching your videos right now as we speak, right? In every second, people keep on watching, and that is where the passive aspect of it comes through. It's it's not like every time you have to do something. Like you said, you can write a book. That's a product that you have in the market that's working for you. or create a video and it's there doing things for you and you get paid eventually. But how did you get into this mindset? Like, cause usually people are like, okay, I'm going to go to school, go to college, and then I get a job. But you didn't want to do that.
Well, my situation was a little bit different. I didn't exactly want to go to school because I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do.
Okay.
So I didn't want to go to school. So I didn't go to school. I just ended up taking a little trade class, like learning massage therapy. This is my excuse to move from my hometown to California. And once I got to California, I just did random jobs. I work at hotels and I drove a taxi and I had a swap meet business. And once I started driving the taxi and had the swap meet business, that's when like everything started to change, because now I'm in this whole mindset of in my own time, being my own boss, doing what I want to, when I want to. So now I'm like, that kind of helped me become sort of a different thinker. And then when I moved from California to San Francisco, oh my gosh, San Francisco is so much different than slow, boring SoCal. San Francisco was just fast paced, and it was all these apps popping up like Uber. This was right around when Uber got really popular. And I started driving for Uber eventually.
In the early days, that one?
Yeah, in the early days, and then started vlogging it. And then from there...
Also, you were blogging about doing driving for Uber.
Yeah, it's how I started, like, talking about different apps. And then from there, I put two and two together. Yo, I can put links in the videos. And people will click on them, and oh my gosh. I mean, for a while, it was like every other day I would get emails from Uber saying, oh yeah, you've just received this bonus, and you've just received this bonus. And I'm just like,
wow.
I can stop working right now.
Also, at that point, I suppose when Uber just broke in, broke out, I suppose you were getting a lot of signups, eh?
Yeah, so I guess you want me to be open since I'm an American. So.
Yeah, man, for sure. So, and this is the cryptocurrency channel from Hardcore Crypto, so it's all good. Yeah.
So the bonuses back then were anywhere from $100 to $1,000 for a sign up.
What?
Yeah, it was insane. So, not that I didn't get many $1,000 bonuses, because it was a couple exceptions. Like they would have to come from Lyft, which was the other competitor.
Ah, okay.
And then they would have to drive X amount of rides, but definitely a lot of $500 bonuses. You know, like
per sign up.
Like, wow. It really depends on what city in the U.S. Like, if they were anywhere in San Francisco, the Bay Area, you would get the most, like from $750, $500. But if it's in places like Chicago, Florida,
yeah, of course,
St. Louis, you might get like $100. And then every now and then they will do something like New York $750, Chicago $750. So you know, for a while that was my life, like just checking emails, like, oh my gosh, there's another one from Uber. Oh, I want to check it now, you know, and check it. And you know, you never know. It might be $100 or maybe 500. And of course I always want 500 and like check it. Oh my gosh, it's $500, you know?
Yeah.
So I just know, like, okay, I got money until this date, you know, and then this day,
and then more.
Just stretch it out, you know.
Did you quit your job at that point? You're like, okay,
oh gosh, no. I mean, San Francisco is pretty expensive, you know. Even getting a couple $1,000 a week, I still wouldn't want to quit my job.
Okay. Wow, it's hardcore right there.
It's like, well, what if I stop getting this money? You know?
Yeah, I know.
Because that's the first, that's the problem I always had. As soon as I got money, I would always go through this whole mind trip, like, when is this going to stop? Right.
So I was talking about this with a friend. I think it was one of my previous videos on Hardcore Crypto. I was saying, well, even, you know, I started working when I was 16. So I was like, every time, maybe every year, my income has been increasing, like by a huge multiplier. But I still get to a point where I'm like, but is this going to continue, or is this just a momentary thing? You know, I always have that anxiety. Like, I think this is probably, or sometimes I even feel like, will I even make more than this? You know, I remember when I got my first real job, I got a check for 2 months. I was like, damn, will I ever make more money than this at all? You know, so I can relate to what you're saying. It always feels like it's going to stop somehow.
And it's just like, oh man, like, it's so nice, but I know this will not last forever.
Yeah.
You know? You just have to enjoy it while you can.
Yeah. What did you get yourself? A skateboard?
With the bonuses? Well, it was just like money for this and money for that, like bills and, you know, gosh, like San Francisco, you easily spend $100 a day, like,
just like that.
Like in between, you know, where you're staying and if you have a car and like rent and food and going here and going there, yeah. And $3,000 a month, it's super easy to do.
So what I like about your content is that you deliver food on skateboards, and I'm like, what is this dude all about, man?
Well, okay, so the thing about the skateboard and delivering food on the skateboard, it's actually a really good idea for San Francisco.
Yeah.
What a lot of people do is get bus passes where you pay like it's about $130 a month. No, that's for New York. For San Francisco, it's about $100 a month. Then you can ride all the buses and trains for unlimited. So, what a lot of people do on skateboards, because I've noticed that more and more people deliver on skateboards. So what some people do is they'll like pick up orders from downtown, and since it's all hilly going one way, they'll just jump on a bus and ride all the way up the hill and drop the order off. And then ride down the hill. So they'll use the skateboard with the bus because the battery range isn't so great. You can get about 14 kilometers per charge on the big battery.
13 kilometers. That is huge, man.
Well, it's pretty good, but you gotta think when you're going around the city and it's hilly and there's rock, the roads are bumpy.
Yeah.
Because the roads in San Francisco are horrible, man.
And this is electric scooters, electric skateboards, just to make it clear there.
I mean, the roads here in Cape Town are so much better than the roads
in San Francisco.
Oh my gosh, it's so much nicer here. Should have brought a skateboard, but the roads in San Francisco are just beat up.
Yeah.
Because of the rain and all that.
Right. So when it's like you don't even try to like, okay. Well, I guess where I'm going with this is that for a lot of people out there, or say here in South Africa or in Africa or maybe in any other places, is that the mentality of that they have to get a job, a real job. You know what a real job sounds like? It's boring, like 9 to 5. That is too instilled in their minds too much that they can't even, people here can't even deliver food because they think of that as low level work, because Africa has been brought up by this academia mentality of like you do X and then you're going to have to get the exact job that you trained for. It's like, okay, you did some accounting. Well, now you're going to have to become an accountant. People don't want to take anything else other than that, even when there's much more opportunities into that. Because if I look at what you do, dude, you know how to invest. You invested in stocks and in all this kind of thing just by yourself because of just having an open mind and the hustle to do everything on your own, you know? So I don't know why is that a lot of people here are like, they don't think like that, man, you know?
Well, it's the same way. It's the same way in the U.S. I feel that, especially with the past financial crisis we had in 2007 and 2008, a lot of people graduated college and they're all looking for jobs, and there's no jobs because, it's an economic downturn. So, you have a lot of people that went to school for this and went to school for that, but there's no jobs for any of that. So,
right.
What are you going to do? Are you just going to not have a job at all? Or are you just going to get any job you can, even if it's way below what your college degree said? So, in the U.S., it's very common to meet educated people working very basic jobs. Just working at a gas station, you may meet someone with a bachelor's degree.
Yeah, but you see, to me that makes sense though. It's like, look, it's the market that really decides your value to begin. Number one, as a human being, you decide your own value, and then if you go out in the world, the market really decides what you're worth. Because I don't get this idea of saying your degree demands that you must be getting this, because if you're useless to me, but your degree say you need to get paid 10,000, I'm going to pay 500. You know what I mean? It's like,
well, the thing about college is what I think a lot of people don't get is college. The best thing about college is not the books, it's not the grades, it's the connections you make.
right.
It's the connections, because if you just look at, like, I look at some of my friends growing up from different backgrounds. I look at my friends with more money, right? And I also look at my friends that are way more outgoing. You know, maybe they're athletes or maybe they're like cheerleaders or something like that. I look at those people, they tend to do a whole lot better in life because they made the right connections in college.
Right.
And after college, those connections help them later in life. And I also know a lot of other people who have went to school and they have left with a college degree and their life is just different. Like they're working normal jobs and they're kind of okay with that. And I kind of blame that on connections and association. You know, sometimes if you're around the right people, they can take, you know, it's easy to go somewhere. But if you're around people that are not going anywhere,
oh yeah. Actually, you nailed it right there. You're just gonna stay on the spot. But then when it comes to connections too, look, what you said is right. That you hear about many companies in the last 10 years or 20 years, they will tell you that the founders met in college before and they actually linked out later in life. Like, hey, we were going to school together. But in the internet age, you also get you can pretty much reach everybody you want. Right? I mean, that's how you and I met. I just emailing you so many times and then we ended up meeting up, right? It's like, it's either you have that kind of hustle or you develop it or you don't. You know, college, it's not designed to just make you connections. It's like, even if you're in college, you have to think about it. You know, I really need to network and have connections and stuff like that.
And for some people, this comes just very, very natural.
Natural, yeah, of course.
Just because they may be the type of person that's like, yo, I want to go to my lake house on the weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you want to come with me? Or you got a lake house too? And like, bam, like they got that connection, and then now they got this going on and that going on. And then, you know, maybe you have someone else and they're not around the same group of people, or they're just not outgoing, or maybe they just party all the time in college and they just hang around losers. Because I definitely knew people like that. And it's like, yo, you're super smart. Like, your grades are so much better than mine, but why are you just not doing anything else?
With it, yeah.
You know?
I get it. Yeah, man, it's hard to demystify, but I suppose personal development plays a role. It's like you have to know what you're good at. It's like I grew up not really good at socializing at all. Like, at heart, I'm an introvert, but it took me a while to actually learn into how can I become more extroverted and be able to speak to people. So let's talk about crypto. How did you, I mean, I know that you're always stumbling around different things, you know, all the new trends and stuff. How did you stumble upon it? And how did you make money out of it?
Okay, interesting. This is a pretty messed up story. Right. It's a good story, but I just missed out. I had a friend who, right before I left Santa Barbara, I had this friend. She was in her 50s. She used to sell swap meet. I used to sell swap meet. I started driving a taxi.
What is swap meet?
Oh, swap meet is like when people sell secondhand stuff. Like, it's very similar to some of the markets you see here. You know, on Long Street? Yeah. Not Long Street, but like
right off Green Square Market?
Yeah. You know, you see people setting up.
Yeah.
And they're there like all the time. It's kind of like that in the US, or like, it's like a big parking lot and people are set up like that. Yeah. And a lot of people will sell old stuff that they don't want from their house. And some people do this, like, they make a living out of it. So I was doing that. And I started driving taxi, and I got this other lady who was doing it too. I got her to start driving taxi. And then she was telling me about cryptocurrency. This was probably like a year before it got, maybe this is like 2 years ago. She was starting to tell me about cryptocurrency. She was like, yo, I know you just signed up for Uber, because by this time I had moved to San Francisco. She says, I know you're driving for Uber, but there's this project I'm working on, and I think it's going to be really, really good in the future. You should invest some money. You should check it out. Like, you should jump on board. And I was like, oh yeah, I don't know. I tell you what, let me get you to sign up for Uber because we can get a $500 bonus each. Got her to sign up for Uber. Time goes on, and she's telling me, hey man, I'm telling you, you should really check this out. I know you like to make money. Like, my numbers are looking great. You should check this out. And I'm thinking, dude, you're 50 years old. You're crazy. You always talk about how the government is like flying airplanes and spraying stuff in the clouds. You talk about
you're one of those people.
You talk about how 5G is going to kill us, I'm thinking you're crazy. Like, you're not making money off of cryptocurrency. Yeah. What's cryptocurrency? Like, you're a lunatic. So after a year passed by from when she initially, told me, look, sign up.
What project was she talking about at the time?
This project was, it was a rideshare. It was a rideshare company.
So it was another cryptocurrency?
It was another cryptocurrency, but it was based off Ethereum, and she was working to help develop it, and they paid her in Ethereum, and she just kept all the Ethereum, and I think she had like $15,000 in Ethereum. Oh. And then it went all the way up to like, I don't know, like $700,000 or something.
Wow.
And then that's when she was like, look, Jermaine, let me just tell you something there.
She told you the numbers?
Yeah. She was like, look, let me tell you something. Look, right now, I'm worth like $700,000. And I was like, what? You're crazy. Like, that's why I didn't believe you.
Yeah.
No, she wasn't crazy. So then I started to, pay cryptocurrency like a lot of attention, because I'm thinking, dude, like, how could that be?
Yeah.
And that's how I got involved. And I got involved maybe 2-3 months before December, because December was that big.
Yeah.
But crypto is, I love crypto. I just want people to use it, but people are just hoarding crypto. I mean, could you imagine if people got US dollars and just held them and didn't spend them? I mean, you know how they would go.
I know.
So that's the problem.
There won't be economic growth as such. But that is very, that's what I was telling you yesterday, that I live here and I know that people buy Bitcoin to use it. They don't even know what hodl means. They buy Bitcoin from you, they're gonna use it and that's it. So in Africa, for the most part, it's actually being used as real money. So what was your first project that you invested in?
First project was Bitcoin, and then, ETH, and then Litecoin, and then BitConnect. BitConnect was sneaky, bro. Like, it was. And then it was Devorecoin, which was
another one.
Another one. I mean, it was a bunch. Like, it was so many that I never really talked about on YouTube.
There's a guy called Trevon James.
Of course.
Yeah. It's like he's always into these scams. I don't know. He moved from BitConnect when he died. He went to this Devorecoin thing.
Yeah.
And then it's like, hey man, it's like, are you always looking for scams specifically or what? I don't really get it.
But what about the other guy, Ryan Hildreth?
I don't know, Ryan. Crypto Ryan.
No, not Crypto Ryan. He disappeared. That was the kid under.
Oh, that kid. Oh, yeah, I know.
He disappeared. The other Asian guy with the Ferraris and the Maserati and all that. That guy, he has like 100,000 subscribers, but I was watching one of his live streams the other day, and there was like 50 people watching the live stream. No, not watching the live stream, but like it was over with. But only 50 people had
watched it.
And I was thinking, like, that crypto, like, just people don't listen to them anymore. But people now still watch LeBron James.
Yeah, they do.
But he's also way more entertaining.
Yeah.
He's more forgiving. People just like him more. Ryan was just like, hey, I'm a rich guy. I have many cars and I have a house. And I just stole a lot of money from people from BitConnect and just deal with it.
But you see, you know what it is that a lot of people usually, if you want to make it in YouTube, you just have to get a scam, rent some cars, and then, nice house or whatever, and you start making content based on those things. It's sad that is what most people are attracted to. Because real content or real wisdom is very boring when it's being given out than a guy who just shows up on a Ferrari and say, hey, I'm making this amount of money. Or if Trevon James make a video and say, hey, $3,000 a day. you know, and people don't even want to think how that's being done. They're just going to sign up on everything. It's pretty sad that crypto is sort of still at that point in time, you know.
But you know, one thing I really, really, really appreciate about Trayvon James, he is so his connections through his videos. It's so like natural. Like he's such a normal person.
Yes.
Like even though he's talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars, like he's not like, he's just like a normal dude.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's like if he makes money and he's celebrating and buys his first car or whatever, it's like it's relatable. You know, he shows you each and every step what he's doing. He's very transparent about what he's doing. When you lose money, you can see all that stuff, right? It's not a guy who want to come to you as a boss. It's like, yeah, let the crypto Ryan guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, sometimes when I see YouTubers and they're like, yeah, I'm successful and I have all these cars and I have all these houses, it's almost like it's unrelatable. Now you're too Hollywood.
Exactly. Yeah.
And some people like that Hollywood vibe. They like the flashy cars, but that's not relatable to most people.
Mm-hmm. And also it's usually fake, you know. It's just like, it's only a few guys that are, you can see the sincerity, whether someone is being real or he's just trying to fake. It's like, who is this guy, the American guy? Tai Lopez. I hate that guy.
Yeah. He's very popular. Oh my God. Yeah.
It's like, you can just see from the get-go, like his videos, it's all fake shit.
I'm on this private jet and I got all these ladies.
Yeah. But you know, that's America for you, man. So for most folks, when they're doing stuff, if you're in a job, at least what allows people to be in peace is that they know at least their future. That, you know, maybe I learned this skill and this professional, in the next 2 or 10 years, I'm going to be doing this and maybe earning a salary. Mm-hmm. Or set up, you know, their job as a retirement benefit, you know, embedded into it. For you don't have, just like me, I suppose, you don't have all of that. So how do you think about the future? I know, like, you invest in stocks and so how do you get started with all of that?
Okay, so this is kind of how I see the future. I look at the future by just looking at the past. And if I just look at the past, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I never imagined that I would be doing this. I never imagined I would have this sort of income stream. I would be traveling around the world and making money like I'm doing it today. So when I look into the future, if I couldn't imagine the past 5 years ago or 10 years ago, I can't really imagine the future.
Right.
And I also compare that with a lot of other people around me. See, a lot of people think that if you just have a job and you have the house and you have the car and you have the family, everything's great, like you're successful. But actually, that's not necessarily the case. You may have all those things and you may be up to your eyeballs in debt with all of those things, you know, and you may just be one paycheck away. So then at the end of the day, for someone who has traveled, and let's just say like I traveled and I didn't save any money and I didn't invest any money, well, how any different would I be from someone with a house and a car and they're just barely, you know, there.
Surviving, yeah.
You know, so that's kind of how I see it. And we're in a different world. Like, this is the information age now. With the internet around, we can make money and do things that we couldn't imagine like 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. So it's just more of using it. It's more of taking advantage of the resources and using it to the best you can.
Yes. And what have you learned from travel and what you can recommend others to do?
From traveling? Oh my gosh, traveling opens up your mind so much. Like it just makes you more, it makes you appreciate the world more, it makes you appreciate different cultures and it makes you understand different cultures.
Yeah.
You know, I think this is one big problem in the U.S. Different cultures just don't understand each other. So you have white cops that kill black people, they just don't understand them.
Right. I get what you're saying now, yeah.
You know, and traveling will definitely help out on that. You know, also traveling, you learn little things about, you learn a lot of things. So, for example, when I went to Israel for the first time, I stayed there for a month, okay? So after I left Israel, like, it's like I can pick out, like, Israelis and Jews, like, so much better.
Okay.
So like after leaving, it's like, yo, this is like a super Jewish neighborhood. You know, and I can tell by not even by like the outfits and stuff, like by facial features, by the way, like outfits and customs and stuff like that. So like when I leave and I go other places, it's like, it's easier to connect with someone, you know?
Yes.
Because I stay in this country, I got used to your culture. So like when I see someone, some Jewish guy, I'd be like, shalom.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh wow, shalom. Like, you know, shalom, you know? And that's just one example, but like you can use that with so many different cultures.
So you can connect with people at a different level, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just like hello.
Right.
Anyone would just say hello.
Yeah.
But if you know anything about the culture or know anything about the religion, like you can sort of express that when you're around someone that has that type of belief.
So I happen to live in a very extremely Jewish neighborhood in South Africa.
Yeah.
Did you feel that this is a Jewish neighborhood?
Yeah.
What are the things that makes you? Because I've started to learn. I learned about this whole Jewish thing, you know, like over the last 3 years. But how do you know when you come to a place? Because you're not the first guy to say that. Yesterday you said it. There was another guy who came here and said, oh, this feels like a Jewish area after we had a walk around.
Yeah, so one way that, I was standing at Mojo Market, and of course, in Judaism, on Saturdays, people don't work.
Yes.
And then after sunset, people can go out and work and go out to eat and stuff like that. And on Sunday's a really popular day. And at the Mojo Market, it's like, yo, on Sunday.
Oh.
It's like, yo,
yes.
Straight Jew city. Like, there are so many Israelis around. There's so many Jews around.
Right. So I never, I never made that connection. Because on Sundays, Mojo is booming.
Yeah, and then, some of them have the headbands on. A lot of them don't, and you can easily tell just because of, like, they're all together and, like, their facial features.
Yeah.
Nose, lips, hair, eyes, stuff like that.
Right.
And then just from traveling around the world, you can pick it up, because I see a lot of Dutch-looking people. Like, a lot of the, like, South Africans, especially the white South Africans. It's like, yo, you look super Dutch,
Yeah, that is very interesting. Man, that makes me want to trouble when you say things like that. It's like, a lot of small nuances about real life,
Yeah, you can like pick up like little things like that, like way more. And then especially with Asia, like you can I can almost tell like Asians apart. Not from every country, because there's a lot of Asian countries.
Yeah.
But Chinese, Filipino, in Thais, I can pretty much tell them apart just from being in the country.
Yes.
Being around the people. So that's kind of one thing you learn about from traveling around the world, like different cultures and different customs.
Man, you're living the best life. And lastly, if you had to live anywhere else other than the United States, which country or city would you choose to live?
Oh my gosh, that's a tough one. It would probably be somewhere in Australia.
Okay.
Australia wasn't my favorite country at all.
It wasn't?
It wasn't. But there's this peaceful vibe about Australia. It's very relaxed. I found it wasn't racism there. It was just lots of beaches and some of the most beautiful sights I've seen in the world. It would probably be, Australia, number 2.
Well, when you said beaches, which beaches do you mean?
Beaches.
Like what, sand beaches?
Yeah, sand beaches.
Okay. Just to make it clear for the boys out there.
Okay. They also got nice ladies too. But they, lots of nature, lots of snakes. Oh my gosh.
Really?
If you don't like snakes, you might want to think twice about going.
So it's all like, if you go to Australia, somehow you're going to see a snake.
I promise you will.
Okay.
It was just, like, even at one of the places I was staying in, near the checkout, it was like a snake going by.
And are those like harmful snakes?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not standing around asking questions about a snake. I'm trying to get out of there. But then you see the chick from behind the counter just goes out and grabs the snake and and just takes the snake and takes it across the street and throws it in the grass.
Oh, I like touching snakes, so I just want to know if it's hazardous or not.
Yeah. Once I was hiking and I came across this snake that was just gigantic. Like, oh my gosh, I was terrified. But that's Australia for you. And maybe number 3, probably South Africa.
South Africa is the best, man. I've been thinking of like going to a different city for the last 4 years, to moving in a different country. I just can't figure it out still because Cape Town is that good.
Cape Town is great.
The weather, everything.
Everything comes here. Like, there's so much action here.
Yeah. So it's South Africa and Australia. Anything else you wanna talk about? Awesome. All right, guys, that's Jermaine for you. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to subscribe to his channel, Jermaine Ellis, and my channel, Hardcore Crypto. If you're watching from his channel, if you're into cryptocurrencies and money and stuff, definitely check out my channel as well. So stay awesome. Hello once again, and that was the end of our conversation. And just before you go, just wanna communicate a few things with you quickly. If you have enjoyed any of the podcasts or this specific podcast episode, I would appreciate it if you share it with your friends and family through your social media, Twitter, Facebook, etc., as well as write me a 5-star review on iTunes or Apple Podcast app. That would be fantastic. It helps me flourish and sustain this podcast as well. We also on other platforms like SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio, and all other major podcast platforms. So whichever way you're listening to it, I would appreciate it if you leave me a review. You can also subscribe to the Grey Podcast through my website, greyjabesi.com, GREYJABESI.com. There you also find some of the blogs that I'm writing sometimes, and you get notified as soon as the new episode has been published. Until next time, enjoy and be productive.